What's up, fam? Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Advice on breaking up with my 38 male, unstable fiance, 38 female, in lockdown. Hey gang, I'm in a difficult situation with my fiance. We love each other dearly, and I am extremely grateful to her for all that she's done for me. But we are just too unstable. It's a non-stop emotional roller coaster. 90% of the time, things are wonderful, but the other 10% is unbearable. I've learned a lot over the years on how to control my emotions and manage my mental health, so I've become a lot less reactive. But even so, it seems like we end up in a terrible conflict about once every week or 2 weeks that result in sharp words and silent treatment for hours or even days. It used to be once every few days. It's so exhausting. I'm just done, y'all. Currently, we're in a European country where she has citizenship rights and I don't, and my status is going to expire soon. We're at the point where the logical step in our relationship is to get married, but I just can't do it. Every cell in my body is warning me not to marry her. I want to break up and go back to my home country while I still can grab a flight. I'm saving up money to do this, and I plan to do it in the next 6 to 8 weeks. Here's where this gets complicated. My fiance is completely dependent on me financially. She has not worked in 2 years. She supports me in my work and around the house, but cannot seem to finish any projects on her own. She's been trying to build an e-commerce store, but it's moving at a snail's pace. I've tried helping her, but it gets nowhere. The resistance for her goes very deep and is linked to trauma and abuse, and I'm just not equipped to handle it. She's an actress, but has given up on working due to embarrassment about her age. She has a lot of other skills, psychic readings and healings. Regardless of whether you believe in it, she's really very gifted at this. Decorating, photography, but she doesn't seem to be motivated to turn them into something money-earning. As for her own mental health issues, she is not actively seeking treatment, or help, or coaching, or therapy. Again, I've tried. We went to couples therapy, but she doesn't seem to be capable of taking responsibility for her side of the conflict cycles. She does not have a support system in this country. She's not close with many people online either. We have made good friends with our neighbors, and I'm sure they will check in on her, but I am hesitant to leave her alone in this country without means to support herself. She struggles with basic tasks like opening bank accounts and sending emails, because she is often overwhelmed emotionally. I came to the sober conclusion that I needed to break up with her 3 times in the last year and a half. All 3 times, she talked me out of it. She convinced me that I was having a mental health episode or that I was possessed by toxic masculinity or patriarchy energies that were not the truth of what my spirit wanted, etc. She laid guilt on me, saying that she would wither away and die, and that I would then die of grief. She said nobody would abandon their partner in a foreign country in the middle of a pandemic. She said she had seen our children in her dreams, and that they were meant to be born, and I was killing them, etc. I see now that this was all simply manipulation driven by her fear of abandonment. This time, I know that I need to do it, but I'm scared, you guys. I know she will not take it well, but I can't bring myself to leave like a thief in the night. For that matter, it's not possible. I don't have a car that I can pack stuff into. We're in a rural area, so I'd need to book an airport taxi or call a friend in advance. So either way, there's going to be another long, drawn-out nuclear war when I try to break up with her. I know that I need to stick to my guns. I don't know when to tell her of my decision and how to get out cleanly. I don't want to cause her more pain than I have to. I really do care about her. In my fantasy world, we'd walk through the woods and have a beautiful ceremony where we release each other lovingly. But I don't see that happening. I also do not have the resources to support her indefinitely. I want to offer to her that I'll pay her rent and food expenses for 2 months to give her time to figure out some way to support herself and or get to some place where she can stay rent-free for a while or ask for some support from her sister who has helped her in the past. From where I am, this just feels really heartless and cruel, and I know that's what she'll say to me. But I just don't know what else to do. At some point, she needs to take responsibility for herself, right? Whew. Felt good to express all this. Thanks for any advice you might have on navigating this. Alright community, help them out. Toady9622 says, "You will never have another life. Don't ruin this one by entering a marriage that you know will be awful. And even more importantly, do not bring a child into it. I think your plan is fine. Leave and pay 2 months rent. Then block her from everything." The OP's response? "Thanks. Appreciate the frank honesty. International Aside says, "Oof. I get why you feel guilty, but you are not her caretaker and she is a grown-up. We all have crap to deal with, but she has absolutely used her issues as emotional blackmail so she can leech off of you. I don't know if she did so consciously, but she did it. You'd be amazed at what a person can accomplish when they need to. She has the ability to support herself. She just hasn't needed to because she's been able to fall back on you. Without you as a crutch, she will either get her crap together or she won't. Either way, it's not on you." OP's response to that one? "Thanks. You're right. She will be okay. She's actually much more capable than she is acting." Five Full Haas? Completely agree. Make your plans and stick to them. The sooner you talk to her, the more time she'll have to try to make her own arrangements. But you must also consider your own needs. If I were in your shoes, I would try to have a place to go for a week or so after you have the initial talk, so both of you could have some space instead of delving straight away into the manipulation mode of hers. Also, when talking to her, don't say, "I want to break up with you." Say, "I'm breaking up with you." Make it a fait accompli, a decision you've already made and not something she can change. Clever Latin Moto has a bit to say. "Again, I've tried. And this is why it is a good thing that you're leaving. As long as you're there trying to help her, she doesn't need to help herself. If you hadn't been there for the past 2 years, would she have died? Starved to death on the streets? No. See, that's the important point here. She managed to reach her mid-30s without you, and she will manage to stay alive to reach her late 30s without you. Speaking of which, she struggles with basic tasks like opening bank accounts and sending emails because she is often overwhelmed emotionally. So, has she just passed from one pair of hands to another her entire life, never functioning on her own? Can she wipe herself after using the toilet, or does that break her fragile spirit? Oh, and this. She doesn't seem to be capable of taking responsibility for her side of conflict cycles. Oh, please. This is such BS. She can take responsibility. She just doesn't want to. And because you are too kind-hearted, she's never had to. But I can't bring myself to leave like a thief in the night. Well, you're going to have to. You do realize, right, that you're kinda sorta setting up a situation where you will have to back down in the face of her meltdown? What's your plan here? You'll tell her the night before, and when she shrieks and rages and threatens suicide, spoiler, she'll totally threaten suicide, you'll be so worried, so upset, that you'll cancel your flight. So you need to ask yourself, do you really want to go? If you do, then you need to tell her as you are on your way out the door. This is the safest way to make an exit from someone that is manipulative, as well as the kindest. You leaving won't be a shock. She knows you want to leave. The only shock here will be that you've figured out how to finally escape her shameless manipulations. You say you can't arrange a pickup, but is that entirely true? Or is it a way for you to not have to leave again? Does your friend not have a cell phone? If he does, then he can get a text. Does the airport taxi service not have a website? You will be leaving with little more than the clothes on your back, so plan carefully. Where are your personal documents, financials, electronics? Make a list of what you can throw into a bug-out bag. Generally 3 days worth of clothing and toiletries. Don't forget any small items of financial or sentimental value. Keep your passport close. When your friend arrives, pack your bug-out bag while he is there acting as a shield. Walk out. If you can alert the neighbors that your ex-wife will need help, that would be nice. Block her everywhere. Do this as you're driving away. Block her on your phone, on your email, on your social media. Call her sister. When you get home, please get therapy. One never escapes a toxic relationship without damage. Alright, one more comment, then an update. Chewy Candy says, she sounds manipulative and isn't taking responsibility for her actions at all. She needs to acknowledge that there is a problem in order for therapy or counseling to work. She needs to be open to the possibilities in order for change to occur. It sounds as though she is trying to guilt trip you into staying. Seeing future kids? You're possessed? You're a child murderer? Sounds a bit crazy to me. She's just scared of being alone and not finding someone as dedicated and as generous as you. Maybe she's afraid she won't find someone who will put up with her crap and pay her bills. You're a champ for staying, but honestly, it would be best to leave. She should work on her stability before ever considering marrying or even having children, which is on the late side of the spectrum for her biologically speaking. You can find someone better who is mature and mentally aware. Also, you need to have your needs met as well. It isn't all about her, and a relationship is never about just one person. It sounds as though you prioritize her more than yourself, and in any relationship, that's unhealthy. You're not being heartless by leaving. Paying 2 months for everything is more than enough. You're too nice, and she will take advantage of that if there is no end. She will take you for everything you have if you allow her to. She needs to be more self-sufficient, in and out. You're doing her and yourself a favor. You will be okay. You'll be happier once you aren't being used like you are right now. Okay, time for that update. I did it. I broke up with her and flew back to my home country. I thought I would wait a bit longer before making the move, but some unexpected money came in that allowed me to book my flights, and once I made up my mind, I knew I had to do it quickly. It was terrible. There was no way for me to leave in the middle of the night because I had too much stuff to pack, and I needed it all for work. I had to go through a confrontation and endure 3.5 hours of her trying desperately to change my mind. But I was determined to get out of there. I had made up my mind that I would call the police if she tried to stop me from getting in that taxi, and or an ambulance if she threatened suicide. She did neither. I think she could sense that I was not screwing around this time, unlike previous breakups where I lacked the resolve to follow through, and I let myself be manipulated and persuaded into staying. Anyway, it's over now. For the first few days, I was worried sick about her well-being, but our friends are taking care of her and may even let her live with them while she figures out her next move. I'm honoring my plan to pay her expenses for 2 months, and I'll cut contact completely once that's done. I moved to my brother's city, where I will spend the spring and summer, and he is expecting a baby soon, so I will get to be an uncle and help out around the house. I'm grateful to be around family and to have something to look forward to. I feel like I've taken my life back. Still, I'm sad. I really did love her dearly. Thanks everyone for giving me frank but helpful advice. It made a huge difference. I am ready now to start my healing and get on with my life. A couple quick comments from the community. Oh Lucky Me says, "Yay, good for you. Living with someone while they bring a new baby home can be a little tricky. I just had my second, so this is fresh in my mind. Give mom and baby space if they need it. Feeding times can be especially frustrating. Cooking some meals and cleaning up around the house would be a huge help. Congratulations on being an uncle and for your new freedom." The OP gets the final word. "Thanks. I'll be getting an apartment nearby and coming over regularly to help."